Most people think getting approved as a data furnisher takes 6 months to a year. It involves jumping through endless hoops with banks and credit bureaus. That's not completely wrong, but there is a path most people don't know about that cuts that timeline down significantly. I've gone through the process multiple times. I've seen people spend a year trying to get approved the wrong way, and I've seen people get set up in 60 days doing it the right way. So by the end of this video, you'll know the fastest path to getting approved and why most people waste 6 months on steps that don't even matter. Section 1, what banks and credit bureaus are actually looking for. The difference between getting approved by banks versus getting approved by credit bureaus and why you need both. Banks, they offer an all-in-one on your behalf compliance, regulatory approval, and data furnishing capabilities that's already built in. So all you have to do is pitch this service to them of managing the service, managing the experience on their behalf of the end users that uses their furnishing capabilities. So once this user goes through your service of this platform, they're buying into all of the credit products of this bank. All that you have to do is make sure the process through is a streamlined, smooth process that doesn't get the banks in regulatory trouble. It doesn't get you in any trouble. It has everything easy to go through, sign up, get an account, and boom. Credit bureaus, they are the ones that are holding all these trade lines. They're holding all these effects that the furnishing is capable of. So this is helping you by having all of these effects actually come into existence. And you just want to be the middleman between both of them. Banks and credit bureaus, they both want to see that you're a legitimate business. They want to see infrastructure that is compliant, something that they can rely on, a software as a service that they can bet their certainty in working with and allowing to have furnishing effects through. They want to see that you have knowledge and competency of credit reporting and that you have the capability that allows this all to happen in the first place. They want to see that your infrastructure looks good, everything is checked off, every piece that allows them to stay compliant if they're going to work with you. You want to have clarity around how you guys making this a business, how you guys modeling something that makes money, is sustainable, is legal, something that they can bet, giving you their infrastructure, all of their capabilities too. Is your framework about maintaining compliance sound? And why is this an opportunity for the market they're serving that allows them to see there is value that they can invest into? Now, a lot of people, when they're looking up data furnishing and trying to become one, they make a lot of time just focusing on things that waste all of their resources, all of their money, and takes a longer path, where the faster pathway is partnering with banks instead of doing it themselves because they're already approved. Now, the model that operates the infrastructure, banks handle bureau relationships and Metro 2 compliance. You handle the software and the users. Now, this path using the banks and their partnership, it's way faster. You're leveraging existing bank approvals instead of building your own from scratch. By the way, if you want exact compliance frameworks in the business plan template that gets banks to approve you and do it faster than you doing this all yourself, click the first link in the description to learn more. Section 2, the exact paperwork and infrastructure you need ready. The documents that build this foundation of this entire business. You need an LLC or corporation that's registered. You need an EIN. You need a business bank account. The documentation of the compliance, what you'll need is a privacy policy. You'll need terms of service. You need FCRA disclosures, and you're going to need data security protocols. Now, to break down what's the requirements around the software you're going to build up, you're going to need user onboarding systems, KYC verification. You're going to need an integration that allows banks to connect to your software, an API, and then you're going to need a dashboard that allows the compliance to be tracked and educate the end user on their success and the effects on their credit report as these trade lines post and as they continue to pay onto them on time. In this business plan you're going to pitch to these banks, here's what you need to include. You need to have the market that you're serving. You need to outline what opportunity is at hand and that you're understanding of the model that's making all of this money for you in the bank. You need to have outlined the exact strategies that's going to allow you to acquire all of these end users. You need to have a clear understanding of how you're going to manage all of the risk that is possible when operating this business. How are you going to manage making sure that there is zero risk or near zero risk to you and for the bank? When you have all of these ahead of time, you already have the competence, you already have the understanding. So by the time you get to that conversation, they're going to hear you and understand you know exactly what you're talking about. And as a result, the trust is going to be established almost immediately. And because they have that trust, they feel safe partnering with you, and you're a great fit to bet on, which allows them to expedite the process, which makes everything faster. Now, to break down the common mistake around reaching out to these banks, you want to reach out to these banks, but not reach out before you have the infrastructure ready and then spend months building while the bank loses interest. You want to have your infrastructure already built, so it's a prototype that when they ask for it, they already see that you've already done your research and that you've been proactively building this before everything even got accepted yet. So section 3, how to speed up this approval process. The biggest time waster is waiting for banks to respond because you approached them wrong or at the wrong time. To identify banks that will work with a business like this and possibly expedite this process with you, community banks and credit unions versus large national banks. To make this first contact the right way, make sure that you're introducing who you are, what you do, this opportunity, and make that an opportunity that allows both of you guys to have a win-win, and outline what is in it for them and the value first instead of what you're getting out of it. Let's break down what slows people down. Trying to explain and over communicate way too much, where you're not focused on each bullet point that actually brings them value, not having the visual materials laid out in front of you so they can understand way better, and pitching before the bank is ready to hear it. Now, the process of following up after this first meeting, when you're done pitching and they're sending all that information you propose through each team of theirs, they got to go through the innovations partnership team, the business development team. There's a lot of moving parts on their end. They got to see if everything's legit. In this review process, expect, because of each layer that has to be involved, the legal team, 6 months, and have your head wrapped around that it could possibly be longer, possibly be a year. If it's in an expedited way where you have everything laid out and it's just a home run pitch, it can be even less than 6 months. And I would say 3 months, and you can have an approval and get things going as far as a pilot program with them and have your software, this prototype, actually be put into action. I would suggest that once this is done, you want to send an email to them just to acknowledge that, hey, this was a great meeting, and to give them your number and everything else that they might need from out of you. You want to check in every 3 months, make sure things are okay. One thing most people don't realize, banks talk to each other. Once you get approved by your first bank and you run a clean pilot program operation for 90 days, getting your second and third bank partnership happens way faster because you have proof of concept now. That's why the first approval, getting it right, matters so much. It's not just about that one partnership. It's about building credibility that accelerates everything after. Now, if you want this exact template and all the frameworks that get you to that point in a faster manner, click the first link in the description to learn more. Peace.